Hello, Jimvitational fans. How's your night? It's Callus here, and I am back to narrate more Gen 3 for you. Gen 3, Round 3, in fact, in the Jimvitational Tour. It is Conflict and Altina. As a reminder, this is lower bracket action, meaning the loser here will be eliminated. These players I don't think have a ton in common. Conflict has been playing since Kingdom Come, very old school German player, and probably most associated with GSC because he's one of the best to ever play that tier, but he's been playing ADV for a long time, and when he decides that he cares about it and is going to bother to practice, I assure you, a deadly opponent in this tier. Altina's not a new player per se, but much newer than Conflict. Probably been playing, 7 years, something like that, 7-8 years. Altina's been around the block, took a bit of a break for a little while, but both a former Callus Invitational competitor, money winner in fact, third place in CI 5 or 6, one of those, 5 I think, and also multiple time SPLer, picked up by the Tigers, the Zomog Tigers, I believe. Not this current year, but the one before, something to that effect. Altina, I don't know how he is. I haven't seen him play in a couple years, but the last time I saw Altina play, which I think was that CI that I just mentioned, looked like legitimately one of the top 2 to 3 players in the tournament. Was playing out of his mind at that time and looked really good. So, very excited for this matchup. Big fan of both of these players, and Conflict in particular can be pretty entertaining to watch. He brings out some funky stuff in all the tiers that he plays, ADV being no exception. As I say that, he'll probably bring the most boring standard stuff imaginable, but let's hope for the best. And with all that out of the way, here is Game 1 between Conflict and Altina. Like I said, the loser is eliminated. Here we go. Zapdos lead for Conflict, Metagross lead for Altina on the top. Zapdos generally with the advantage there, but okay, really weird opening here. So Metagross subs, itself unusual. Then it booms in a Fori, which looks weird, but we find out there's a reason why, because there is a Magneton, which of course traps it with Magnet Pull in the back, and it gets the Thunderbolt kill. So kind of a weird start, to be sure. But the result, crucially, is that Conflict doesn't get a single spike down, so that's probably a good start for Altina. Zapdos and Suicune staring each other down, even at +1, only 38% on the Thunderbolt and 38% on the Surf, actually. Thunderbolt there against the Magneton. Magneton has done its job already. Anything it does from here is just gravy, but it does Thunderbolt into a previously unrevealed doll. Fori doll together, little unusual, not unheard of, was kind of like a flavor of the month thing a couple years ago. Not generally my preferred combination, but it does have a couple niche merits. We'll see what Conflict has chosen to do with it. Given the configuration of the team, I would say it is almost certainly a Pursuit Tower for Conflict, but I also really doubt, given what Altina has shown, that his last poke is a Gengar. Looks like a physical or mixed offense for Altina. Here comes the Lax, and he's going to curse up. May or may not have EQ. Conflict certainly is aware of that possibility. Gonna go for the Rock Slide anyway, 22%, and there is the EQ at +1 and a critical hit, and down goes the Tyranitar as Altina takes the lead. Psychic there, underwhelming 13%. Shadow Ball, a little bit more than 13%, say 85%. And there's the boom, but damage very much done. That Lax got a lot of value. Oh, it's a Regirock. That's cool. I actually built a team 3, 4, whatever years ago with this exact 6. The lead was different. I'm sure a set or two is different, but I have that exact 6 somewhere in my builder. I am a fan of the Regirock. And we'll see if it gets the job done here. Altina is still in the lead, 4-3 at the moment, with all Pokemon revealed. Regirock in, not exactly a special wall, 35% from the unboosted T-Bolt, but Stab Rock Slide would easily kill Zapdos here. It will not easily kill Jirachi here, doing just 13%, but it does learn T-Wave, believe it or not, so that might happen. And it does. They exchange status problems. Toxic and T-Wave, flinging them at each other. Gonna go for Paraflinch, but like, who cares? Because the damage is so bad, it will legit die to Toxic before it kills Jirachi this way. But Magneton sneaks in on a full Para turn. That's got to be good for Altina. And he's going to go for Rain Dance, which is a little bit peculiar. But, yeah, I mean, the sand is gone, and it cannot be reestablished. So we will be playing a sandless game from here on out. That supports both the Lax and the Coon. The Lax, of course, being down, but the Suicune appreciates the boosts to its Surf. Regirock comes in, trying to scare away the Zapdos. Only one turn of rain remaining. And T-Wave hoping that Zapdos would stay in, but tragically, for Altina, that is not the case. And we've got ourselves a close one here. Wish floating, and yeah, Altina's not going to bother attacking, given the fact that the Wish would have negated it. Roar's going to get rid of that boost. Mence, feel like we haven't seen that guy in a while, reappears. Don't know what kind of Mence it is. And Rock Slide doesn't necessarily mean that it is a DD Mence. Mixed Mence with Rock Slide is a thing. In fact, some people think it's the best set of Mixed Mence. Not an opinion I share, but definitely an opinion I've heard from players that I respect. So, could still be that. Rachi getting boomed on there. I mean, yeah, that's probably about as much value as you're going to get in this matchup, especially when it's poisoned out of the Regirock. And we do now have a DD Mence confirmed as Rachi full paras. That's not where he wants to be. 2-2, but paralyze my Milotic against DD Mence and make that a second Dragon Dance and a full para. That's getting a little dicey for Conflict. Another full para and another Dragon Dance. But oh my Milotic with Marvel Scale and a Sandless game has bulk for days. And after dodging Rock Slide, and Conflict already said GG, by the way, but I don't know that it's over. Conflict was ready to pack it in, but he seems to have stabilized here somehow. Flinch there is good. Gonna need a Para Flinch here or a crit. Does not get it. Recover gets off. The Toxic is very real. He's got one more turn to either Para Flinch or crit here. Otherwise, I think Milotic actually wins the matchup despite 4 Dragon Dances, which is insane. And there's another Dragon Dance, because why the hell not? And full Para happens there, but he can't kill him here without a crit. No, he's going to Dragon Dance again. That's unusual. I think he does that on purpose because he wants to get the Suicune in against the Milotic rather than against the Zapdos. So as weird as that seemed, I think that was very, very deliberate. And that's anticlimactic. Altina wanted to go down to last poke Suicune, especially if it was Crocune, which we don't know. We just saw Combine Surf Rest. We never did see the last move, whether it was Roar or Sleep Talk. Very well may have been Sleep Talk, given the configuration of the team. But the plan for Altina was to go down to last poke Suicune. Those were his best odds. See how it does against Zapdos. And Conflict just immediately got a crit. Wah, wah, wah. But hey, you know what? One of the things that you can do to BS-proof yourself is to make your tournament double elimination and best of 3. So this game does not have to define the tournament for Altina. He's got 2 more chances. If he can beat Conflict 2 games in a row, then he will live to fight another day. Otherwise, it will be Conflict the German continuing on in the lower bracket. And here we are again. Game 2, like I said, Conflict has 2 chances. Altina must win 2 in a row. If you've not already subscribed to Revival Tournaments, now would be a great time to do so. Like button is also there if you feel like it. Also, I've got a YouTube channel in the description, youtube.com/CallusNarrates. Literally over 1,000 videos just like this over the course of years and years and years of covering ADV, if that's your kind of thing. Now, back to the action. Conflict's still on the bottom, Altina's still on the top. Zapper and Mence. Generally advantage Zapper with the threat of things like HP Ice and T-Wave. It is in fact T-Wave, and Tyranitar doesn't have Lum and is paralyzed. Zapdos switches out rather than Baton passes out. Metagross should scare away the T-Tar and does, and we are back to Zapdos. See if he goes for T-Wave again. Maybe he thought that the Tar was going to come in, hence going for T-Bolt rather than T-Wave. However, Altina, no justice in the world. Toxic is going to miss not once but twice, and now his Jirachi is trapped by Dugtrio. Gonna go for Protect. Doesn't really change anything here, just wastes a little bit more Earthquake PP, but really, truly, what are you hoping to accomplish here? There's no reason not to Protect, but it doesn't get him out of this. And Toxic is 0 for 3 for Altina to start this game. Pretty unlucky and pretty frustrating, especially when he's already down a game. A lame start for Altina, but still room to come back here. And the Jirachi does eventually die. 6 Earthquakes used there. I doubt the Dugtrio PP ends up mattering, but if it does, I guess that's a thing that happened. And 2 incorrect predictions in a row, unfortunately, for Altina. Thunderbolt happens there, and Toxic does happen on Zapdos. He must feel very vulnerable to that Pokemon to deem that exchange worthwhile. But crucially, he did never manage to get a Spike down. Conflict may or may not have a Spinner, but hard to argue that Conflict is pretty clearly ahead by any objective measure as it stands right now. Regice comes in for Conflict. Alright. Some kind of boom spam. I mean, Zapdos obviously doesn't learn boom, but some kind of boom spam perhaps for Conflict. Earthquake, Ice Beam respectively. As if Altina wasn't already getting unlucky. How about a freeze on top of it from the very first Ice Beam? It's rough. It doesn't feel like Altina has a whole lot that he can do. Seems like pretty one-sided luck in this one, unfortunately, when Altina is already down a game, and he's down a game because he got immediately crit at the end of the last game. He does make a good play there, because that Skarm was not doing much when it was that low, and there was a doll on the other side. So, other than the Gengar, which just got revealed for the first time, Skarm was probably the best thing that he could have gotten boomed on there. So it catches him up a little bit, but definitely, especially with this stupid freeze, Conflict obviously still ahead in this game. And here comes T-Tar trying to switch into Psychic, which it does successfully, but that doesn't really change the fact that a Mash is going to come. Or not. A Mash is not going to come. Does he not have Mash, or does he really, really not want to risk the miss? Interesting. That hidden power prediction, though, is good. Going to snipe out the Swampert. Altina kind of on the ropes here. Maybe Gengar can catch him up. He does kill the Zapdos, so 3 to 4. Metagross that we know has Psychic follows up, which Altina doesn't really have a fantastic switch into that. Meteor Mash and a crit for good measure gets rid of the T-Tar, leaving Altina with only 2 Pokemon against 4 from Conflict. Doubles back, tries to bait a boom. Yeah, I mean, desperate times, desperate measures. You've got to make plays like that if you're Altina, but Conflict, of course, does not take the bait. And another good double switch. Dugtrio not that exciting right now, and he's going to Aerial Ace him. Dragon Claw back. Underwhelming from both, but Salamence will win the matchup nevertheless. And Dougie is down, so Altina, air quotes, catches up. But he's still very far behind. Here comes Gar coming into Ice Beam. Not a big deal as long as he doesn't freeze. Has the chance to get his own freeze or maybe some Thunderbolt nonsense here. But ultimately to break the Regice, which he can't freeze, he would need Fire Punch or something. Thunderbolt, crit, maybe para, full para? Nah, he's just going to get himself parried with the T-Wave. And that basically makes the Garbaggio here. Gets a little something out of it on the way out. Good for Altina. He's made this a game. But I think he needs a critical hit right here. Fire Blast must kill or must crit, or it's just going to be a Psychic or a Boom and the game is over. Fire Blast does an F-ton, but not quite enough, and Psychic will end it here in what must be a frustrating way to go out of the tournament for Altina. Other than that very minor sequence in the middle where his Scar made the incorrect prediction a couple times, which I ultimately don't think mattered all that much, I really don't think Altina did that much wrong in this series. It just, he played to his outs in game 1, got immediately crit. What are you going to do? Happens to the best of us, and same nonsense here. I mean, Conflict didn't do anything wrong either. He just played the game, and RNG smiled upon him, but Altina kind of got the shaft in this one. Freezes mattered, crits mattered. 3 toxic misses early on, just a lot of bad luck for Altina. A crappy way to go out, but Pokemon can be a cruel mistress, and this is just one of those games. So with my condolences to Altina, who I definitely am a fan of, both as a player and as a human, the winner here, another one of my favorite players of all time, my man, the German, Conflict, by a score of 2-0. He will continue on in the tournament, and Altina will be eliminated. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I don't know how many of these I'm going to get invited back for in future rounds. Hopefully more than 0, but I'll see you when I see you. A good way to see me is to come over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/CalisNarrates. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next video.